Ladies and gentlemen, picture a woman standing alone in the vastness of her world. Her heart aches for companionship, for connection, for someone to hear her voice and know her soul. The world outside her is nothing more than a mirror reflecting the images she holds within. If she sees herself as unloved, unwanted, or alone, the world obediently reflects that state. But if she dares to close her eyes to the outer scene and awaken her imagination, she can transform her reality entirely. For the unseen, the imagined, and the believed are the building blocks of every life. Imagination is not a mere flight of fancy. It is the very instrument by which we shape our lives. If this woman in her solitude can see herself surrounded by love, laughter, and understanding, her world will respond in kind. The invisible power within her will draw those visions into tangible, living relationships. The past may whisper cruel lies, reminding her of times when she felt abandoned or betrayed. But the past holds no authority here unless she grants it permission. Let her instead imagine a new future one where she is loved, cherished, and celebrated. Let her persist in this vision no matter what her current circumstances suggest. And when doubt creeps in, as it inevitably will, let her remember this truth: the world conforms to her dominant belief. If she believes in her own worth, in her ability to connect, and in the power of her imagination, then the world will prove her right. So I say to the woman with no friend, you are the creator of your own story. Stop waiting for the world to give you what you seek. Instead, become what you desire within and watch as your outer world transforms to match it. For a woman who loves herself, who trusts her imagination, and who dares to believe in her own worth is never truly alone. The external world reflects the internal state of the individual. This idea, simple yet profound, reveals a truth that many overlook in their daily lives. Every experience you encounter, every relationship you form, and every opportunity or challenge that comes your way is a reflection of your inner consciousness. To grasp this concept fully, imagine the mind as a vast projector constantly casting images onto the screen of life. The film being projected is not some random reel handed to you by chance. It is the content of your own imagination, your deeply held assumptions, and the stories you tell yourself about who you are and what the world is like. If the images on the screen appear grim or unkind, it is not the screen that is to blame, but the film being played. Change the film, and the picture must change accordingly. This principle is empowering because it places the reins of life firmly in your hands. Instead of being a passive observer, reacting to the ups and downs of an unpredictable world, you become the creator, the architect of your reality. By shifting your internal state, by aligning your thoughts and emotions with the life you wish to live, you set into motion changes that ripple outward, touching every aspect of your existence. A woman who feels isolated and unloved might look outward and see a world that appears cold and indifferent. She might conclude that her loneliness is the result of others' actions or the circumstances she finds herself in. If this woman begins to change her inner dialogue, imagining herself as deeply loved, cherished, and valued, something remarkable happens. Her inner shift starts to reflect outwardly. She might find herself meeting new people who share her values, reconnecting with old friends, or noticing warmth and kindness where before there was only indifference. The world hasn't changed on its own. It is her inner transformation that has set the stage for new experiences to unfold. This principle applies not only to relationships, but to every area of life: career, health, finances, and personal growth. A person who believes in scarcity will encounter lack, no matter how hard they work or strive. Conversely, someone who cultivates an inner sense of abundance will find opportunities, resources, and support flowing into their life, often in unexpected ways. It is not magic, but the natural result of aligning the inner world with the desired outcome. The beauty of this truth lies in its universality. It does not matter where you start or what challenges you face. The power to change your circumstances is always within you. The external world is neutral, neither cruel nor kind. It simply mirrors back to you the state of your inner being. This understanding is not meant to induce guilt or blame for past experiences, but to inspire hope and responsibility for the future. It is important to note that this principle does not demand perfection or the absence of negative thoughts. Life is dynamic, and so are we. What matters is the dominant trend of your inner state. If your thoughts and feelings consistently align with joy, peace, and love, your outer world will take on the same qualities. Even in moments of doubt or challenge, the inner work you've done will sustain you and guide you back to your center. To live by this principle is to engage in a daily practice of awareness and intention. It means taking time to observe your thoughts and feelings, to notice the assumptions you carry, and to gently but firmly guide them toward the vision you wish to see realized. It requires patience and persistence, for the outer world often lags behind the inner shift. But with faith in the process, the results are inevitable. Life becomes an adventure, a creative endeavor in which you are both the artist and the canvas. The world ceases to be a source of fear or frustration and becomes instead a reflection of your most cherished ideals. When you truly understand that the external world reflects your internal state, you gain not only the power to transform your life, but also the peace that comes from knowing that everything you seek is already within you. Solitude can be an opportunity for immense growth, not a curse. Often people view being alone as a state to be avoided, something to fear or escape. It carries connotations of emptiness, isolation, and even failure in a society that celebrates constant interaction and connection. Yet solitude, when approached with the right perspective, is not a burden, but a gift, a chance to discover the depths of oneself and unlock untapped potential. The quiet moments of life, the ones spent without the noise and distraction of others, are the fertile soil where personal growth takes root. In solitude, we are no longer defined by the roles we play for others, friend, partner, colleague, or parent. Instead, we come face to face with who we truly are beneath those layers. While this encounter can be unsettling at first, it is also the doorway to transformation. It is in the stillness that we begin to understand our desires, our fears, and the beliefs that shape our lives. Solitude brings discomfort because it forces them to confront parts of themselves they would rather avoid. The mind fills the silence with doubts, regrets, and memories of past failures, creating a narrative of inadequacy. But within this discomfort lies the opportunity for growth. By sitting with these thoughts instead of fleeing from them, we begin to see them for what they are: passing illusions, not immutable truths. In solitude, we gain the clarity to question these narratives and replace them with ones that serve us better. Solitude fosters creativity and imagination. Without the distractions of the outside world, the mind is free to wander, to dream, and to explore new ideas. Some of the greatest works of art, literature, and innovation have been born in solitude, in the quiet hours when an individual dared to listen to their inner voice. It is in these moments that we connect with the infinite source of inspiration within us, discovering not only what we can create, but also who we can become. We also cultivate a deeper relationship with ourselves. So often people seek validation, happiness, and fulfillment from external sources, from friends, partners, or achievements. Yet these external sources are fleeting, subject to change and loss. True contentment arises from within, from a sense of self-love and self-worth that is independent of the opinions or actions of others. Solitude offers the space to nurture this inner relationship, to learn to enjoy one's own company, and to realize that being alone is not synonymous with being lonely. The law of attraction, a concept that has gained popularity in recent years, is based on the idea that we attract into our lives that which we focus on. This is not to say that thinking about something will automatically make it appear, but rather that when we focus on positive, abundant thoughts, we align ourselves with opportunities and experiences that reflect that energy. When we believe in our own worth, success, and happiness, we naturally begin to attract circumstances and people that mirror those beliefs. In this way, the power of thought and belief directly influences the opportunities and events that show up in our lives. It's also important to recognize that our emotions play a crucial role in shaping our experiences. Emotions are the energy that flows through us, and they have a magnetic quality. When we are in a state of joy, love, and gratitude, we emit a frequency that attracts similar experiences. Conversely, when we are in a state of fear, anger, or resentment, we attract more of the same. This is why emotional mastery is so important in the process of creating a life we love. By learning to regulate our emotions, we can ensure that the energy we project is aligned with our highest desires. Practices like mindfulness and emotional awareness allow us to become more attuned to our emotional state, helping us to shift our energy when necessary. Ultimately, the key to shaping our lives lies in our ability to recognize that we are not passive observers of our reality, but active creators of it. The world around us is not something that happens to us. It is a reflection of the energy we put into it. Every thought, belief, and emotion we hold contributes to the reality we experience. By consciously choosing to cultivate empowering beliefs, positive emotions, and an unwavering sense of self-worth, we begin to shift the course of our lives. This understanding is both liberating and empowering. It reminds us that we are not at the mercy of the world around us, but rather that we have the power to influence and shape our experiences. When we align our thoughts, beliefs, and actions with the life we desire, we begin to see the world reflect back to us the fullness of our potential. The life we dream of is not something that happens by chance, but something we create through the power of our own mind. The key to unlocking this potential is within us, waiting to be realized. And when we embrace this power, we open the door to limitless possibilities. In conclusion, the journey of self-discovery, personal growth, and transformation lies within each of us. The thoughts we think, the beliefs we hold, and the way we perceive ourselves in the world are the forces that shape our reality. Through self-love, self-awareness, and the power of belief, we can break free from the limitations of past conditioning and rewrite the story of our lives. When we align our inner world with our true potential, we not only overcome challenges and rise above loneliness, but also create relationships and experiences that are fulfilling, authentic, and meaningful. We are the architects of our own lives, and the power to create the life we desire resides within our thoughts, emotions, and actions. By embracing this power, we unlock the doors to endless possibilities, knowing that we are capable of manifesting the life we've always dreamed of, one thought, one belief, and one action at a time. At first glance, this idea might seem overly simplistic, especially when life presents us with challenges that feel insurmountable, be it financial struggles, relationship conflicts, or personal insecurities. Yet, when we delve deeper into the nature of these so-called limitations, we discover that their power lies not in their reality, but in our belief in them. The barriers that appear to confine us are often rooted in assumptions, fears, and perspectives that we hold, rather than in objective truth. From a young age, we are conditioned by the world around us, by family, society, and our own experiences. We are taught what is possible and what is not, what we are capable of achieving and where we are destined to fail. These lessons, whether explicit or implied, shape our beliefs about ourselves and the world. Over time, these beliefs solidify into mental walls that dictate the scope of our potential. Yet, when examined, many of these walls have no real substance. They are constructs of the mind, not immutable facts of existence. For example, the idea of fear. Fear often acts as a formidable limitation, convincing us that we cannot move forward or take risks. But what is fear truly? It is rarely a reflection of the present moment. Instead, it is a projection of the mind, an imagined scenario of what might go wrong. In other words, fear is an illusion, a shadow cast by our thoughts onto a future that has not yet happened. When we recognize this, we can begin to question its validity. The act of stepping through fear, of taking action despite it, often reveals that the limitations we feared were never real to begin with. Consider the limitations we place on ourselves through labels and identities. I am not good at this, we might say. Or people like me don't achieve. That these statements, often accepted without question, act as invisible chains, binding us to a narrow vision of what we can do. But where do these beliefs come from? More often than not, they arise from past experiences or the opinions of others, both of which are imperfect and subjective. To cling to these beliefs is to allow the past to dictate the future, rather than seeing each moment as a new opportunity for growth and transformation. The physical world itself often appears to impose limitations. There are circumstances, illness, financial hardship, or external constraints that seem beyond our control. But even these challenges, while real in their existence, do not define the entirety of our potential. What matters is how we respond to them. A person who views a limitation as an unchangeable fact will remain confined by it, while another who sees it as a challenge to overcome may discover solutions and paths that were previously invisible. It is not the limitation itself, but our perspective toward it that determines its impact on our lives. Imagination plays a pivotal role in dismantling these illusions. The mind, when unbound by limiting beliefs, has the power to envision possibilities that transcend current circumstances. This act of imagining a new reality, of seeing oneself succeeding, thriving, or breaking free creates a shift in consciousness that begins to reshape the external world. It is not magic, but a process of aligning one's thoughts, emotions, and actions with a new vision, gradually bringing it into being. There are countless stories of individuals who have defied what seemed impossible, proving that limitations are often more flexible than they appear. Athletes who overcome injuries to set records, artists who rise from obscurity to transform their fields, or people who rebuild their lives after devastating losses. All of these examples demonstrate the resilience and creativity of the human spirit when it refuses to accept limits as final. This understanding does not mean ignoring real challenges or pretending they don't exist. Rather, it involves approaching them with curiosity and determination, asking, what is possible here? What can I do with what I have? In many cases, the very act of questioning a limitation weakens its grip, opening the door to new opportunities. Another powerful tool in overcoming limitations is faith, not necessarily in a religious sense, but faith in oneself and in the infinite possibilities of life. This faith allows us to persist even when the path is unclear, to trust that solutions will emerge as we continue to move forward. It reminds us that the greatest limitations often lie not in the world around us, but in the doubts we harbor within. The recognition that limitations are largely self-created is liberating. It means that we are not victims of circumstance, but active participants in shaping our destiny. By challenging our assumptions, facing our fears, and daring to imagine new possibilities, we can transcend the barriers that once seemed insurmountable. What was once perceived as a limitation becomes instead a stepping stone, a chance to grow, evolve, and discover the boundless potential that lies within us. Self-love is the cornerstone of any meaningful relationship. Without it, the connections we form with others are built on unstable ground, prone to crumble under the weight of insecurity, doubt, and unmet expectations. Yet, with self-love, relationships flourish, rooted in authenticity, mutual respect, and genuine affection. It may seem paradoxical, but the foundation of our ability to love others begins with how we feel about ourselves. When we cultivate self-love, we not only transform our inner world, but also elevate the quality of our relationships with those around us. To understand why self-love is so essential, we must first recognize that the way we perceive ourselves acts as a lens through which we interpret the actions and words of others. If we lack self-love, we may misinterpret the intentions of those closest to us, seeing criticism where none exists or feeling slighted by the smallest perceived offense. In this state, relationships become fraught with misunderstandings and tension. Conversely, when we love and accept ourselves, we are more likely to approach interactions with trust and clarity, creating space for open communication and deeper connection. A lack of self-love often leads to seeking validation from others, a need to be reassured of our worth through external approval. This dependence can place undue pressure on relationships, making them feel transactional or one-sided. We may find ourselves bending over backward to please others, suppressing our true desires and emotions in the process. However, such behavior is unsustainable. It creates resentment and exhausts both parties, leaving little room for the genuine exchange of love and support. Self-love frees us from this cycle. When we truly value ourselves, we no longer rely on others to fill an inner void. Instead, we approach relationships from a place of abundance, bringing our whole, authentic selves to the table. This authenticity is magnetic. It fosters trust and invites others to do the same, laying the groundwork for relationships that are balanced and fulfilling. Self-love also teaches us the importance of boundaries, a critical component of healthy relationships. When we love ourselves, we recognize our worth and refuse to tolerate treatment that undermines it. This does not mean erecting walls or cutting people off at the first sign of trouble. Rather, it involves setting clear expectations for how we wish to be treated and standing firm in those expectations. Boundaries are not acts of selfishness, they are acts of self-respect. By honoring our needs, we model for others how to honor them too. Self-love enhances our capacity for empathy and compassion. When we are at peace with ourselves, we are less likely to be consumed by our own insecurities and more capable of understanding and supporting the people we care about. Self-love quiets the inner critic that fuels judgment, allowing us to approach others with kindness and acceptance. It enables us to celebrate their successes without envy and to offer comfort in their struggles without resentment. Developing self-love is not always easy. Many of us carry wounds from the past, harsh words from others, perceived failures, or unmet expectations that have left us questioning our worth. These wounds may manifest as self-doubt, perfectionism, or a tendency to compare ourselves to others. But self-love is not about being perfect or achieving some ideal version of ourselves. It is about embracing who we are, flaws and all, and recognizing that our worth is intrinsic, not contingent on external accomplishments or the approval of others. Practices like self-reflection, affirmations, and mindfulness can help cultivate self-love. Taking time to acknowledge our achievements, forgive our mistakes, and care for our physical and emotional well-being are acts of self-love in action. Surrounding ourselves with people who uplift and support us also reinforces this inner work, as their positivity reflects the love we are learning to give ourselves. Perhaps most importantly, self-love teaches us patience. It reminds us that growth is a journey, not a destination, and that we are deserving of kindness and grace at every step along the way. It allows us to embrace the ebb and flow of life without losing sight of our inherent value. When we extend this same patience to others, our relationships deepen, enriched by mutual understanding and respect. The ripple effects of self-love are profound. A person who loves themselves becomes a source of light and inspiration, attracting relationships that are nurturing and life-affirming. They approach challenges with resilience, navigate conflicts with grace, and uplift those around them simply by being their authentic selves. In this way, self-love not only transforms the individual, but also elevates the quality of their interactions and connections. Self-love is not an act of selfishness or vanity. It is the foundation upon which all meaningful relationships are built. By learning to love ourselves, we unlock the capacity to love others more deeply and authentically. We move through the world with confidence and compassion, creating connections that are rooted in genuine understanding and care. In loving ourselves, we discover the profound truth that the love we give to others begins always within. Loneliness is not an absence of people, it is an absence of connection with oneself. This realization is profound and transformative, for it shifts the focus of our search for fulfillment inward rather than outward. In a world filled with constant noise and distractions, we are often led to believe that the cure for loneliness lies in the presence of others, in more friends, more social events, or more interaction. Yet, no amount of external connection can truly fill the void if we are disconnected from ourselves. Loneliness is not about being alone, but about feeling unseen, unheard, and unvalued. While it is natural to desire companionship and validation from others, these feelings often stem from a deeper need to be recognized and embraced by ourselves. When we fail to acknowledge our own worth, when we neglect to listen to our inner voice, we begin to seek in others what we have denied ourselves. This external search, while momentarily satisfying, is ultimately unsustainable. It creates a cycle of dependence where our sense of value becomes tied to the presence and approval of others, leaving us vulnerable to feelings of loneliness when those connections waver. The journey to overcoming loneliness begins with the recognition that we are our own greatest source of connection. To cultivate a relationship with oneself is to find solace and fulfillment that no external circumstance can take away. This relationship is not built overnight, nor is it always easy. It requires patience, introspection, and a willingness to confront the parts of ourselves we may have ignored or rejected. Yet the rewards of this work are immense, offering a sense of inner peace and self-assurance that radiates outward into every area of our lives. Reconnecting with oneself starts with creating space for self-reflection. In a society that prizes busyness and productivity, it is easy to lose touch with who we are and what we truly need. Taking time to sit with our thoughts, to journal, or simply to be still allows us to listen to the whispers of our soul. These moments of quiet introspection help us understand our desires, fears, and emotions, providing clarity and direction. They remind us that we are not alone, for within us resides an infinite well of wisdom and strength. Another powerful step in this journey is self-acceptance. Loneliness often arises when we feel unworthy or inadequate, leading us to believe that we must change to be loved or accepted. But true connection begins when we embrace ourselves as we are, flaws, imperfections, and all. This does not mean ignoring areas where we can grow, but rather approaching ourselves with compassion and understanding. Self-acceptance is a radical act of love, one that dismantles the barriers we have erected between ourselves and the world. The practice of self-love also plays a crucial role in overcoming loneliness. To love oneself is to prioritize our well-being, to treat ourselves with kindness, and to celebrate our unique gifts. It is about recognizing that our worth is not defined by external achievements or the opinions of others, but is inherent and unchanging. Acts of self-love, whether through self-care routines, affirmations, or simply taking time to do what brings us joy, remind us of this truth and deepen our connection with ourselves. Loneliness can also be a teacher, guiding us to explore the deeper layers of our existence. When we feel the ache of disconnection, it is often a sign that we have drifted away from our inner selves. By leaning into this discomfort rather than resisting it, we can uncover valuable insights about who we are and what we need to thrive. Loneliness, when approached with curiosity and openness, becomes a doorway to greater self-awareness and growth. Once we establish a strong connection with ourselves, our relationships with others naturally transform. When we no longer rely on external validation to feel whole, we approach connections with authenticity and generosity. We are able to give without expecting in return, to listen without judgment, and to love without fear, this shift not only deepens our existing relationships, but also attracts new connections that resonate with our true selves. It is important to acknowledge that the journey to self-connection is not linear. There will be moments of doubt and loneliness along the way, but these moments are not failures. They are opportunities to pause, reflect, and realign with our inner truth. Each step, no matter how small, brings us closer to the unshakable realization that we are never truly alone. Loneliness is a universal human experience, but it does not have to define us. By turning inward and reconnecting with ourselves, we transform this feeling from a source of pain into a catalyst for growth. We learn that the deepest connection we can ever have is the one we cultivate within. In doing so, we not only overcome loneliness, but also discover a sense of peace and fulfillment that carries us through every moment of life. The power of thought is often underestimated, yet it is the driving force behind everything we experience. Thoughts are not just fleeting ideas that come and go, they are the seeds that shape the reality we live in. Our thoughts influence our emotions, our actions, and ultimately the outcomes we experience. The truth is that our inner world is reflected in our outer world, and what we choose to believe about ourselves and the world directly impacts the life we create. It begins with the realization that our thoughts are not random. They are deeply connected to the beliefs we hold about ourselves, about others, and about the world. If we hold a belief that we are unworthy or incapable, our thoughts will align with that belief, reinforcing feelings of inadequacy and limitation. These thoughts then influence our behaviors and interactions, often leading us to make choices that reflect our negative self-perception. On the other hand, when we believe that we are worthy, capable, and deserving of love and success, our thoughts become aligned with these empowering beliefs, leading us to take actions that reflect confidence and resilience. The thoughts we entertain have the power to create our emotional state. If we dwell on thoughts of fear, doubt, or insecurity, we invite negative emotions such as anxiety, sadness, or frustration into our lives. Conversely, when we consciously focus on thoughts of gratitude, love, and possibility, we elevate our emotional state, attracting positive experiences and interactions. Our emotions, in turn, guide our behavior, influencing how we show up in the world and how we respond to the circumstances we face. By choosing to cultivate positive, empowering thoughts, we can shift our emotional state and change the course of our lives. Our thoughts also have a profound impact on the physical world around us. This is not to say that thoughts alone can manifest anything we desire without action, but rather that our thoughts set the tone for the actions we take and the opportunities we recognize. When we focus on solutions rather than problems, when we believe that success is possible, we naturally begin to take steps toward achieving our goals. Our thoughts act as a compass, guiding us toward the experiences and outcomes we seek. If we focus on lack or failure, we will often find ourselves stuck in a cycle of frustration and disappointment. But when we focus on abundance and possibility, we open ourselves to new opportunities and solutions that were previously hidden from view. This connection between thought and reality is especially evident in relationships. How we think about ourselves and others directly impacts the quality of our interactions. If we believe that we are deserving of love and respect, we will attract relationships that reflect those beliefs. We will act with confidence and communicate with clarity, inviting others to engage with us in meaningful and supportive ways. On the other hand, if we believe that we are unworthy or incapable of having fulfilling relationships, we may subconsciously push people away or settle for connections that do not meet our needs. The quality of our relationships is a direct reflection of the thoughts we hold about ourselves and others. The power of thought also extends to our ability to overcome challenges. Life is full of obstacles, but how we approach these challenges is determined by our mindset. When we approach difficulties with a mindset of growth and resilience, we are more likely to find creative solutions and navigate challenges with grace. However, when we allow negative thoughts and self-doubt to dominate our minds, we may feel overwhelmed and defeated before we even try. The way we think about challenges, whether we see them as opportunities for growth or insurmountable obstacles, determines how we respond to them and whether we are able to overcome them. This is why it is essential to develop mastery over our thoughts. Our minds are incredibly powerful, but they are also prone to distraction, negativity, and fear. It takes conscious effort to train the mind to focus on what we want rather than what we fear. This is where practices such as mindfulness, meditation, and positive affirmations come into play. These practices help us to quiet the noise of the world and the inner critic, allowing us to center our thoughts on what we truly desire. When we align our thoughts with our intentions, we create a clear path toward our goals and invite the universe to support us in manifesting them. It is important to remember that mastery over our thoughts does not mean eliminating negative or difficult thoughts altogether. Rather, it means recognizing these thoughts for what they are, temporary and not necessarily reflective of our truth, and choosing not to give them power over our lives. We are not our thoughts, and we do not have to believe every thought that arises. By becoming aware of our thought patterns and consciously choosing to replace limiting beliefs with empowering ones, we begin to transform our reality from the inside out. Ultimately, the power of thought is a reminder that we are the creators of our own lives. We have the ability to shape our experiences through the thoughts we choose to entertain. By cultivating a mindset of possibility, abundance, and love, we can transform not only our emotional state, but also our relationships, our health, and our circumstances. Our thoughts are the building blocks of the life we desire, and by taking control of we take control of our destiny. The reality we experience is a reflection of what we believe to be true, and when we shift our thoughts, we shift our world. The journey of life often feels like a constant ebb and flow, a cycle of highs and lows, successes and setbacks. In this perpetual motion, it is easy to believe that the world around us dictates the course of our lives, that circumstances, other people, or even the events of the past control our present and future. But the truth is far more empowering. The events of our lives are not random. They are a reflection of the energy we project into the world and the mindset we adopt. The idea that we are powerless or bound by the events around us is a misconception. In reality, we are the architects of our own experiences, and the power to shape our lives lies in our hands. This realization begins with understanding the role of the subconscious mind. The subconscious is a vast reservoir of memories, beliefs, and emotions, many of which are formed in our early years and continue to influence our thoughts and behaviors throughout our lives. Most of what we experience is shaped by this hidden layer of the mind. We act, react, and interpret the world based on the programming stored there, often without even realizing it. If we have been conditioned to believe that we are unlucky, unworthy, or incapable, we will unconsciously create circumstances that confirm these beliefs. On the other hand, when we actively work to change our inner programming, we can rewrite the script of our lives. This is where the power of belief comes in. Our beliefs are not just thoughts, they are the lens through which we perceive reality. What we believe about ourselves, about others, and about the world creates the framework in which we live. If we believe that we are doomed to failure, that relationships are always doomed to disappoint, or that success is unattainable, our beliefs will shape our experiences accordingly. The mind is extraordinarily powerful. In this way, it will bring to fruition whatever it believes to be true. So if we want to change our lives, we must first change our beliefs. Changing beliefs is not a quick or easy process, but it is entirely possible. It requires conscious effort, patience, and a willingness to question old narratives. It begins with awareness, noticing the negative thoughts and limiting beliefs that hold us back. Once we are aware of these beliefs, we can begin to replace them with new, empowering ones. This is not about pretending everything is perfect or ignoring reality, but rather about shifting our focus toward what is possible rather than what seems impossible. When we change our beliefs, we change our perception of the world and our place within it. Affirmations, visualization, and mindfulness are powerful tools in this process. Affirmations work by helping us retrain the subconscious mind, replacing old negative beliefs with positive, empowering ones. For example, repeating statements such as "I am worthy of love and success," or "I have the strength to overcome any obstacle," helps to reprogram the mind over time. Visualization is another powerful technique that involves imagining the life we desire in vivid detail. By consistently visualizing our desired reality, we create a mental blueprint that the subconscious mind can follow. These practices help shift the energy we project into the world, aligning our internal thoughts and beliefs with the external reality we wish to create. The law of attraction, a concept that has gained popularity in recent years, is based on the idea that we attract into our lives that which we focus on. This is not to say that thinking about something will automatically make it appear, but rather that when we focus on positive, abundant thoughts, we align ourselves with opportunities and experiences that reflect that energy. When we believe in our own worth, success, and happiness, we naturally begin to attract circumstances and people that mirror those beliefs. In this way, the power of thought and belief directly influences the opportunities and events that show up in our lives. It's also important to recognize that our emotions play a crucial role in shaping our experiences. Emotions are the energy that flows through us, and they have a magnetic quality. When we are in a state of joy, love, and gratitude, we emit a frequency that attracts similar experiences. Conversely, when we are in a state of fear, anger, or resentment, we attract more of the same. This is why emotional mastery is so important in the process of creating a life we love. By learning to regulate our emotions, we can ensure that the energy we project is aligned with our highest desires. Practices like mindfulness and emotional awareness allow us to become more attuned to our emotional state, helping us to shift our energy when necessary. Ultimately, the key to shaping our lives lies in our ability to recognize that we are not passive observers of our reality, but active creators of it. The world around us is not something that happens to us, it is a reflection of the energy we put into it. Every thought, belief, and emotion we hold contributes to the reality we experience. By consciously choosing to cultivate empowering beliefs, positive emotions, and an unwavering sense of self-worth, we begin to shift the course of our lives. This understanding is both liberating and empowering. It reminds us that we are not at the mercy of the world around us, but rather that we have the power to influence and shape our experiences. When we align our thoughts, beliefs, and actions with the life we desire, we begin to see the world reflect back to us the fullness of our potential. The life we dream of is not something that happens by chance, but something we create through the power of our own mind. The key to unlocking this potential is within us, waiting to be realized. And when we embrace this power, we open the door to limitless possibilities. In conclusion, the journey of self-discovery, personal growth, and transformation lies within each of us. The thoughts we think, the beliefs we hold, and the way we perceive ourselves in the world are the forces that shape our reality. Through self-love, self-awareness, and the power of belief, we can break free from the limitations of past conditioning and rewrite the story of our lives. When we align our inner world with our true potential, we not only overcome challenges and rise above loneliness, but also create relationships and experiences that are fulfilling, authentic, and meaningful. We are the architects of our own lives, and the power to create the life we desire resides within our thoughts, emotions, and actions. By embracing this power, we unlock the doors to endless possibilities, knowing that we are capable of manifesting the life we've always dreamed of, one thought, one belief, and one action at a time.